Hi everyone. The bee breeding program is proceeding apace. I've gotten as far as V queens. From there it's just rejuvenating bees and then pure bees. For the current project anyway. And for the other thing, we're going to make it run to the jungle. First thing we want to do is set up the slowdown tracks. Now you probably noticed I didn't bring a lot with me, and the wireless terminal is not going to be useful out here. Fortunately, I already took the time to fashion an alternative. Basically, I've hooked up ender pouches and ender chests to my logistics pipe storage and connected a remote orderer to that. The disadvantage of this is that the logistics pipe system cannot order the ME system to craft things for me. But the advantage is that I can order anything that's already crafted from anywhere, in any dimension. Which is a pretty handy thing when you're working 2 kilometers away from home. Tim told me he dug a vertical shaft here. And there's our node, still hungrily eating the surroundings. We were considering the possibility of using elevator tracks to simply go straight up vertically. I think I've lost my hole. Should have marked that. But this is still a ways forward from the ends of the track, so I'm thinking just a diagonal track going up will be fine. As for the station itself, I've got a fairly cool idea going on in my head. And hopefully it won't take forever to implement it. But first, I'm going to have to find that hole. Okay, I found that hole and marked it on my map. Now, I could have the lines just going straight forward and up, but if we decide later on to make this track continue further forward, that'll be a problem. And we're going to want to be slowed down once we get to this point anyway. So I'm thinking we'll have the tracks go off to the side and then go up. Well, it seems as if this hole has actually taken me a good ways past the hungry node. I'm going to be cutting out a lot of wood. So I think what I'm going to do right now is clear out some area so I can decide what to do with the rest of the area. Okay, so I have finished digging the tunnel up to the surface. I've cleared out some space, but not all of it. And I've laid tracks to go up to where the station is going to be. Although I've still got lots of building to do on the station. Still, I do like the way that the rails come out, mostly. Although there may be a little bit to be desired there. So I made some booster tracks for the purposes of getting it up the hill. And I'll put some redstone torches under them in a minute. Okay, so we got some boosters in place. That should get it the rest of the way up the hill. And if it doesn't, I'll probably just need to put in some flat spots. First, we're going to back up and give it a running start. And up we go. The mighty locomotive, climbing to the top of the tunnel. Climb, little train. I think you can. Climb with all your might. Don't let a little gravity stop you. You can do it. I believe it. You can. You've got the booster tracks. You've got the power. You've got the steam. You're a sad little locomotive, you know that? Okay, we're going to have to straighten some things out here. I'll get back to you. Okay, so I've installed some straightaways so that everywhere that has a corner has some straight track before and after it before it starts climbing again. I've also done the same thing to the downstairs track so that it doesn't come down straight into a corner. So hopefully That will prevent problems going both directions. And up we go, charging up the hill. Yeah, I'm not going to make you listen to all that another time. But I think I can. 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 Pretty sure I can. All right. I know I can. I know I can. I know I can. Because I did. All right, the little locomotive could. And really, I ought to be encasing this thing in obsidian, and I will be doing that. But I'm going to let it suck up some more of the ground first, just to see how much ground it clears. And I'm also going to give this a test going back to the other station, just to make sure it makes it downhill all right. And down the hill we go. Not too bad. And I will just wait a while to put any pearls in that. So I know I have the station itself, but I have not yet set up a rig to feed this node. But I have a plan, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. Oh yeah, that is taking shape pretty nicely. The mouth could look a little angrier, but what the hey, I'm a happy guy, so we'll let the mouth stay like it is. So yeah, my idea was to basically build this train station off the design of basically a giant jungle idol, with its body going all the way down there and its hands going around the hungry node, or rather around the obsidian box containing the hungry node. And I'm also thinking that I can put some red conveyor belts down here with an open crate dispensing crafting tables, which would slowly pour straight down into the hungry node. I'm only going to have them go at 1 per second because I think that if you go faster than that, you just end up wasting it. I think it can only absorb one point of aspect per second. Of course, I welcome any advice and corrections in the case that any of my guesses might be incorrect. So, now that I've got that properly encased, I can work on the neck of this thing. and then we can get on with its body. I left the window open in the front so I can check on the aspects. And I'm going to have to bust a hole in the top so that I can feed it. And you know, I should probably just set up the feeding first, so it can accomplish that while I'm building. But I'll chop the hole in here last. Okay, so here's what I've got set up for the crafting tables. I've got a sawmill set up here so that the logistics pipes can make planks. And I also have a crafting table set up to make the crafting tables. And this ender chest has one brown marker on it so that it can be kept stocked with crafting tables. All I have to do is tell it to stay stocked with 64 of them. I'm sure a smaller amount would do just fine. But we have plenty of oak logs, so 64 will do fine as well. And 64 crafting tables. So we'll start with the ender chest up here. I was going to put an open crate here, but with Buildcraft pipes, really don't need them. A pipe left open will just dump on the floor. Okay, redstone signal on. Energy pulse. Single energy. And I want another lever. And lever. Didn't realize it would do that. Now we turn that on so the timer won't start right away. And we will set its interval for 1 second. We're supposed to have one crafting table come out per second. Perhaps that's too rapid for the pulsar? I think I may want to go back to plan A. Which would be item ducts and an open crate. We'll set this back for 1 per second. One every 2 seconds. Well, I can see it's activating it. Okay, so all the fancy stuff with the timer was just unnecessary. A regular item duct with a servo seems to be going at a fairly regular rate. Although it does seem to be pushing out more than one at a time. We do have a ridiculous amount of oak. So that should be not a problem. But we still don't have any new Fabrico coming. But it is building up the individual aspects that make up the Fabrico. Which is actually better for our purposes anyway. So, I guess that works out. We'll be checking back on it periodically to see how big it gets. So, thanks to real life, I had to walk away for about 10 hours. But the node is growing nicely. That Ignis was at 6 when I left. So, can't wait to see what happens in a few days. In the meanwhile, I've still got this giant idol to build. I'm going to have to find out what's up with that, too. But that can wait till later. Right now, I want to build a neck. And yes, this is where the main... So I figured out a new way to get away from the node. Also, a staff of traveling would have done the job as well. I bet I lost one of those marks. Oh well. I wonder why there's not a sphere. Doesn't really matter. A cylinder is what I wanted anyway. But it does seem like a sphere would be a logical thing to put in there. I love Buildcraft's filler. But I wonder why there's gaps. But they should be easy enough to fill in. Well, I figured out why I'm not producing crafting tables. I am out of logs. I had 10,000 of those. And I need to recharge my battery anyway. So it's time to head back to the western base. Okay, so the good news is we've got the oak back in the tree farm. And it's growing pretty nicely. But the bad news is that the output is pretty much constantly going straight into our crafting table chest and being pumped straight out as fast as they can be produced. I need another way to enforce one crafting table coming out per second. And guess what I forgot to put on when I came home? So what I've decided to try this time is going back to my old friend Buildcraft. And I'm adding an on-off toggle switch at the end of the timer. So when the timer clicks, instead of sending a pulse that I'm afraid is too short to the gate, it's switching the gate on and off to send a continuous redstone signal to the pulsar, which will send a single pulse to pull one item out of the chest. In the meanwhile, I still need to build a body. And I think that I want to lower some ground here by about 4 meters. May want to do something about that. But with the area I've got cleared out, I may just leave it the way it is. Maybe even build some land back under it. But right now, we're going to build some feet. So we're starting out with this to give us a center line and to show us where the back of the neck is. And big toes are big. Medium toes are medium. This thing's wide enough, I could probably give it 4 toes. And little toes are little. That looks kind of like a foot. This body is going to be really, really short. In fact, I really don't think I have room for the legs to be more than a block higher. Well, this dude has a really tiny body. But I'd say he came out pretty well. I'll probably have nightmares tonight about building those fingers so close to that hungry node. That was really hard to work with. I can't really come up with any suggestions that would probably make it easier, except maybe try not to swear on camera. But at any rate, we do have our jungle temple node feeder. And it does seem to be doing the job. I'm going to get back to work on those beads. So till next time, be sure to have some fun, build something cool, and have a nice day.